Welcome to the Weekly Roar, coming live from the Lion's Den, helping new managers become great leaders and awesome bosses. And now, here's your host, Greg Storch.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Lion's Den. This is the Weekly Roar. It's good to see you all here again. Today, I'm going to speak about the greatest joys a leader can have. But before we jump into that, I'm Greg Storch. I'm the founder of Lion Enterprise, a leadership development and coaching business where I focus on creating winning work cultures, one leader at a time. I'm a certified professional leadership coach and a certified leadership speaker and trainer. Last week, I spoke about forming a dream team. That's putting together a team of leaders, your best players, once you've developed and trained them. I also shared the 6 characteristics your dream team should have. If you weren't able to join us last Wednesday, or if you just want to watch that session over again, all you have to do is head over to my website at www.lion-enterprise.com and click on the Lion's Pride Library, where you'll find video number 103 for last week. Hey, and while you're in the Lion's Pride Library, just stick around and check it out. It's a free resource, and it's a great way for you to get more of the roar. All right, it's time to continue the leadership series with today's session, The Leader's Joy of Coaching. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. We don't achieve anything significant in life without the help of others. Ever since I was 17 and joined the Navy, the universe has been showing me example after example of this in my own life. I have countless stories of significant achievements that I would have never experienced without the help of other people. And that's why today I want to talk about the importance for leaders to have a great team with them in order for them to be successful. One is just too small a number, and it takes a team to achieve big things. Last week, I was talking about forming a team of leaders, but this week, I want to focus a little more on how leaders actually become that person for people who want to be on their team. If you want to build a winning dream team, you have to know what it means to be a winning coach. I've said this for a few years now, and I truly believe that one of the most needed skills for a leader today is the ability to coach. Mentoring and coaching are critical tools that leaders can use to harness the collective genius of a team. A good leader knows how to select, motivate, and empower their people. But not everyone can attract the players they need to make the dream team. In order to do that, a leader must possess certain qualities. These qualities will help leaders to earn their team's respect and loyalty. And they're also the building blocks needed to motivate and empower their people to function like a real dream team. So, let me share these characteristics with you. The first quality is that the coach knows how to pick the right players. They don't call it a dream team for nothing. Dream teams are made of the best and the brightest, and a good leader knows how to pick them. I can't stress enough the importance of being able to choose the right people. When you begin with the right people in place, then you'll avoid problems later on down the road. This is an important point because if you start with the wrong material, you'll never be able to turn them into a dream team. It's just not going to happen. You'll spend a lot of time and energy trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. So you have to start with the right material to create a winning team. If you want to be successful, if you want to win, then pick winners. The last thing I want to say about this quality is that it's really important that you identify what a winner looks like for you. What qualities do they need to possess in order to be a part of your dream team? Have your recipe for success written down and ready to go so that you can apply it every time you're looking at potential winners to join your team. Maybe you include things like loyalty and whether or not they're trustworthy and hardworking. Whatever's important to you, write that down. Make it your recipe that you apply to each and every person you're screening to be part of your dream team. Whatever those ingredients are for you, when a person displays them, you'll know they have the potential to be a part of your team. Now, the second quality is that the coach constantly communicates the game plan. Every good coach has a game plan. The game plan sets the course and direction of the game, as well as the development of the players throughout the season. But the plan is not going to work unless the leader shares it with those who have to execute it, the players, and they have to do it frequently. So when sharing a game plan with your team members, a leader's got to be sure to communicate their expectations. That helps the team members understand their roles and how they fit into the big picture. A leader also needs to give their team members the opportunity to perform. When your team members get to take action, they get to be part of your game plan and to carry out their role in the big picture. So during all of this, it's also important for the leader to provide constant feedback. Let them know how they're doing. When they get that feedback, it provides them with an opportunity to learn and improve. And when a leader instructs and empowers their team members, it's a way for them to provide the means in which they can learn and grow. But don't forget, you also have to incentivize them by recognizing their contributions to the team. Remember, reward and recognize your team members. So the third quality of a dream team coach is that they take time to call the huddle. The huddle's an opportunity for team members to come together, review the plan, and how it's supposed to be implemented. Taking time to huddle gets all the players on the same page. If any of you watch the NFL, then you've probably seen times where a team comes out of the huddle and the play goes horribly wrong. It's because they didn't communicate the game plan well enough. When your team members fail to take the time to huddle, the results can be disastrous. When your team members take time to huddle, it gives them a chance to focus. We can all use a little refocusing. Even if you feel like you communicated the game plan clearly, it never hurts to refocus on the important aspects of the plan. The huddle is a great time to do that. It also provides everyone, including the leader, to listen and adjust as needed. Reviewing the game plan in the huddle is a great time to exchange information. So it's important that we as leaders listen well. If you receive the right information and feedback, it can be helpful for deciding whether or not adjustments have to be made. And then the last point about the huddle is that it can also provide your players with the opportunity to just rest. Take a little break to regroup in the huddle during a timeout is going to allow everyone to stop and take a breather before going back at it. You know, if it's done at the right time, your use of a huddle could be just the thing they need to re-energize before they continue on. The fourth quality is that the coach knows what motivates their players. When you want to bring out the best in someone, you have to know them well enough that you know what they want and you can provide it to them as a source of motivation. It shouldn't be a surprise to you that still today, some of the things that employees value the most are appreciation for doing a good job, Inclusion, feeling part of the team and knowing that their manager is understanding when it comes to personal challenges. Those are their top three things as ranked by the employees as being most important to them. But what might really surprise you guys is that when managers were asked what they thought their employees valued, they ranked those three things as 8, 9, and 10 on their lists. The leaders had no idea what their employees valued, and that's a problem because then they have no way to incentivize them. Bringing out the best in team members requires that leaders know them and what's important to them. If you want the players on your dream team to produce, remember this: motivate and appreciate. Good coaches know what their people want, and if you want to keep your players on the team, use your knowledge of them and what they desire most to help you achieve not only the team's goals, but also the goals of the team members themselves. Now, in my last series, the Leadership Reboot, I spoke about the importance for leaders to be good problem solvers. Well, that's the fifth quality I want to share with you today. The leader of a dream team excels in problem solving. Not only do they need to be great problem solvers, but they also should have a mindset that they're going to have them. Problems are going to happen. It's just something that they've got to expect. I think you all know this already, but if you don't, let me just say that good leaders see problems as opportunities to learn, grow, and improve. As a reminder from my previous series, a leader can develop their problem-solving skills by anticipating problems happening, maintaining a positive attitude while the problems are happening, using their resources to solve them quickly until they fix the problem, and of course, they must learn the lesson from the experience of the problem so it doesn't happen again. Another way to excel in problem solving is to understand that your decisions, they're going to get criticized. Believe me, no matter what you do to solve the problem, someone is going to think or say it was the wrong thing for you to do. It's just important that we be confident in our decision making and follow our convictions. Just remember that when it comes to problem solving, you have to stay one step ahead or you'll quickly fall one step behind everyone else. Be creative and use your people as resources when problems arise. I mean, that's one of the reasons why leaders work so hard to select and develop them to begin with, so you can use them as a resource. The sixth quality of a dream team coach is that they provide the right support needed for success. I mean, they facilitate, not dictate. When leaders facilitate, they create an environment of support which allows players and leaders to be involved together. And that gives the team the best chance for success. In addition to establishing the ideal culture of support where everyone is encouraged to participate, a good leader also provides plenty of affirmation. Acknowledging and validating are two very powerful coaching skills that are sure to get any of your team members to respond to your affirmations. So, a good leader provides the support that is needed for success. And another way they do that is by making things simple for their team's lives. How do you do that? Well, be creative and innovative in your approach. Nobody likes having to cut through all this red tape, so make sure to cut through it so your teams can thrive without restrictions. The seventh quality is that they command the respect of the team members. Yes, respect. A coach has to have respect if they expect their players to do what they ask. Respect, as you all know, is something we earn over time. And a leader can build up the respect of others by being consistent. Consistent in what? Well, consistent in being trustworthy to start. If you aren't trusted, you'll never be respected. You also have to genuinely care about the team members. You know, I love this saying that actually came from Theodore Roosevelt, who said, "People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." Well, it's true. When your team members can see that you really genuinely care about them, they'll listen to you and they'll also respect you. And one other thing that will earn you the respect of your team members, they want to know that you're able to make hard decisions. When they see others getting away with things that they shouldn't be because the leader's shying away from taking action and making hard decisions, they lose faith and trust. And without those two things, a leader's never going to warrant respect. And now, the eighth and final quality is that the leader understands the levels of all of the team members. We've talked before about how important it is to have everyone in the right seat on the right bus. That means that you have to play to their strengths in order to maximize their potential. One way for leaders to do that is to know the strengths of their players. When a leader doesn't understand this about their team members and they misjudge the level of one of the players, they do a disservice to that person. They won't produce, succeed, or develop. You've essentially set them up for failure. All team members have different levels of effectiveness, which require us to approach them differently when it comes to our leadership. I like to associate these differences with like being a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, and a senior. See, in the early stages of development, some team members or your new team members, they're going to require more direction from you. Those are your freshmen. They won't know what to do or how to do it, right? They won't be quite ready to work independently. So it's going to be really important that we as leaders instruct them every step of the way. Walk them down the hall, show them to their lockers, and bring them to their next class. You'll have to be a little more hands-on with them. Once they develop a little more, then those team members require more of a coach. These are your sophomores. When we coach these team members, we have to put on a different leadership hat here. They're able to do a little more work independently than the freshmen, but the training wheels are still on because they rely on direction and feedback from us. This relationship will be more of a partnership, and you'll need to coach them to reach their full potential. Now, we have our juniors. These are the players who they just need our support. They can work without our direction as the leader, but they still need some support, and of course, they need encouragement. Then you're going to have the seniors, those team members who are experienced and can work on a task without you having to intervene or help. We're just leading these players. They need to know our vision, and they also get held accountable to achieve it as well. These are the team members who you can comfortably delegate to and know that they'll complete any task assigned to them. Okay, so those are the 8 qualities of a dream team coach that will earn your team's loyalty and respect. I'll cover them again real quick. They were: 1, know how to pick the right people. 2, they constantly communicate the game plan. 3, they take time to huddle the players. 4, they know what their players want. 5, They're problem solvers, and they're really good at it. 6, they provide the right support needed for success. 7, they command the respect of their players. And 8, they understand the levels that each player is playing at. Now, speaking of delegation, those seniors I just spoke about, well, delegation is a really powerful tool that we can use as a dream coach. Delegation is the assignment of any authority to someone else. It's normally, of course, from a manager to a subordinate, so they can carry out specific activities. And as I said, it's one of the core concepts of leadership, but also the person who delegated the work is still accountable for the outcome of those delegated tasks. The reason why I wanted to speak about this real quick is because leaders must learn the art of delegation, because without it, even if they have all those qualities I just covered today, they'll never be able to successfully lead their own dream team. So I want to warn you of some possible traps that you could fall into that could keep you from delegating appropriately. So the first one is the insecurity trap. And that's simply feeling like you have to be in control of everything or you aren't doing a good job. And really, at the end of the day, the leader doesn't delegate because they're afraid they'll lose their job. That's what it really boils down to. The next one is the confidence trap. Having a lack of confidence in others can also be something that keeps us from delegating to other people. If a leader believes that their employee isn't competent enough to do the job, they just won't delegate it. I should have called this the catch-22 trap, because the thing is that employees have to grow into delegation by being given the chance to perform, make mistakes, and then learn from them. But leaders aren't sure they can do it, so they never delegate. It's a catch-22. Here's a really good one to look out for. This one is the personal enjoyment trap. People don't like to give up things that they love to do, but in leadership, it's one of the best things that we can do for someone. You can get over this by simply asking yourself, is there someone else who can do this task? If so, the task should be delegated to them. Leaders should only be performing the tasks that only they can do. I spoke about this in my session called Get Your Priorities Straight, and I gave you a little matrix to use when it came to your daily task list. Now, the next one I call the habit trap. No, not a rabbit trap, the habit trap. This is kind of the same as the other one, but here is where a leader fails to delegate because they're in the habit of doing it themselves, even if they shouldn't be. When a task is simple and straightforward, it should be delegated to someone else so leaders can focus on the more complex things. Then there's the reluctance trap. This is when a leader's previous attempts to delegate didn't end well, and now they're reluctant to do it again. We can't let our past failures get in the way of tomorrow's success. If you ever experience delegation gone wrong, don't give up. Look at why the problem occurred, learn from it, and try again. By the way, most times when delegation doesn't go well, it's not the employee's fault. It could be a training issue. They weren't working in their strength area. They weren't developed properly for the task. And they maybe weren't given proper motivation to do it. Okay, and here is the last trap that I want to mention because I fall into this trap sometimes myself. You're probably going to guess what this one is. This trap is called the I do it best trap. A million things come to mind with this one. First of all, Annie, get your gun. Anything you can do, I can do better. Okay, no more zinging. And then, of course, there's the old saying, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. Both of those are anti-delegation rally cries. If you think that to be done right, you have to do certain tasks yourself, you're not going to get much done. You see, we promote people into positions a lot of time based on their excellent performance in their technical role. And that creates problems for those leaders because they have a hard time making the shift from doing the task to managing it. Look, everyone does things a little differently than we would do the same thing. And they all think their way is the best way. Maybe it is. It really doesn't matter. Is there really a right or wrong way to do something if it produces the same end result? If you just want to get a few small things done, then go ahead, do them yourself. But if you want to be a better leader and do great things that have a big impact, then you need to delegate. If you're having issues delegating certain tasks, see if you might be falling into one of those traps I just mentioned. If you are, then that means you just aren't delegating enough, so step it up. Another way you'll know you have too much on your plate is when you continually miss deadlines. You face more and more crises at work. They become more frequent. If that's happening, step up your delegation game. Look for those performers who are ready to step up and take on new challenges and then delegate tasks to them. You'll thank yourself later, I promise. Hey, it's our jobs as leaders to make our team members do what they don't want to do. That's how we help them become what they've always wanted to be. You can do it with the right tools and the right attitude. So keep working on your skill and personal development. Give more of yourself to your players. Doing these things will help you to become a successful coach. If you're willing to give all you've got, you'll be ready to coach your own dream team. And once you do, you'll see that as a leader, it will be one of the greatest joys of your life. All right, everyone, there you have it. That's the 8th episode in my new series, How to Raise a Leader. Now, next week, I'm going to talk about a leader's finest hour when they get to realize this. If you want to know what this is, then come on back to the Lion's Den and tune into the Weekly Roar next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks, everybody, for supporting me again today and watching the Weekly Roar. I appreciate you. And until we meet again next Wednesday, remember, be powerful, but stay poised just like a lion. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Weekly Roar live event at lionenterprise.com. If you enjoyed this video, please tell others to join us each week here in the Lion's Den. Thanks again, and see you next week.